As President, it is my privilege to congratulate you on becoming members and honorary members of the Royal Irish Academy, and to welcome you to the community of the Academy. When in 1786 the Academy admitted its first members, it could not have foreseen that now in 2020 we should be obliged to organize this happy day without being physically present of Academy House. Academy staff have worked extremely hard and tirelessly to make this occasion as meaningful as possible for you. And as soon as we are permitted, we hope there will be many occasions to welcome you in person. You are becoming Academy members today at an extraordinarily difficult time, a time when the scholarship and expertise of the Academy is sorely needed, not only for its scientific excellence, but for its capacity to reflect on the implications of the virus for our society and for our economy. As we read and hear every day on both sides of the Atlantic, the capacity to speak truthfully and independently about science and to communicate that truth to government and society has never been more important. Government and civil servants need facts, rigor, and objectivity as they are increasingly confronted with highly complex policy issues requiring multiple forms of knowledge, including scientific insights, experiential knowledge, and local perspectives. As Ireland, North and South, moves beyond the immediate crisis, developing meaningful policy initiatives within the context of our history and culture will be essential, as will the availability of appropriate, high-level, credible, and objective scientific insights. The Academy Strategic Plan is available to you online, and in referring you to it, I would like to emphasize that our role is to foster excellence in research, be an independent voice on higher education and on public policy, and to represent the world of Irish scholarship internationally. Our objective is to ensure that the cross-disciplinary expertise of the Academy is available for policymakers to develop responses to ethical and societal issues, to generate and evaluate options, and to provide meaning to the discussion around critical topics within our society. After the economic crash of 2008, the Irish Government Economic and Evaluation Service was established to provide integrated cross-government advice. It is our view in the Academy that an equivalent science advisory service, independent of funding mechanisms, is now required for good government. To this end, the Academy would recommend the establishment of a Science Advisory Office in any programme for government that is currently being developed, because Ireland's Office of the Chief Scientific Advisor currently lacks the staff or budget to do the complex job that is now urgently required. As Irish society opens up post-crisis, it is also our objective that the RIA will play a proactive role by continuing to contribute objective and high-level reflections and expertise to government. We shall continue to advocate for the adequate funding of our tertiary education system and for the appropriate support for culture and heritage. Indeed, the past few months have clearly demonstrated the value of culture in its widest sense to all parts and at all levels of Irish society. As an all-island academy, we shall continue our cross-border cooperation and exchange of ideas, and continue to work not just in a north-south dimension, but also with the learned academies of England, Scotland, and Wales. In a post-Brexit world, this dimension of our work acquires additional relevance. In welcoming you to the Academy, it is our hope that you will join our existing members in contributing and lending your advice through one of our many disciplinary committees or their working groups. Please be involved. We rely on you, our members, to provide the expertise and the network which forms the backbone of our work. You can do this not only through the committees, but also by serving as an assessor on our grants or award panels, by reviewing publications, by taking an active role with our policy oversight group to review policy outputs, and by donating your publications to our historic library. We hope you will attend and contribute to our formal discourses, meetings, and the many other events and lectures that go on in Academy House. I wish to thank the many members of the Academy who have put their expertise at the service of the people of Ireland during the current crisis. And we announce today that an Academy steering group on COVID-19 has been established to develop and coordinate the activities of the various Academy committees throughout the island of Ireland. We now turn to the admittance of you, our members, our new members. The Secretary will now read the declaration subscribed to by members. This will also be affirmed when they sign the roll. I hand over to our Secretary, Patrick Shannon. Sorry.
We whose names are underwritten, having been elected members of the Royal Irish Academy for advancing the study of science, polite literature and antiquities, do hereby promise, each for himself or herself, that we will endeavour to promote the good of said academy, that we will be present at the meetings of said academy as often as we conveniently can, especially at the annual elections and upon extraordinary occasions, and that we will observe the statutes and bylaws for the time being of said academy.
Thank you, Secretary. We will now admit the 6 new honorary members. An honorary member is an academic with a world-class career and with a connection to Ireland, although not normally living in Ireland. The first honorary members we will admit are those in the section for polite literature and antiquities. I would like to pass now to our Secretary for Polite Literature and Antiquities, Mary O'Dowd.
Janet Browne is Armand Professor of the History of Science at Harvard University. She is the world's leading scholar on Charles Darwin, and her 2-volume biography on him has won wide acclaim. Her most recent book, The Quotable Darwin, provides further compelling insights into the legendary naturalist's scholarship as well as his private life. She is a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and a corresponding fellow of the British Academy.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
David Hampton is one of the world's most distinguished historians of religion. He is based at Harvard University, where he is the Alonzo L. McDonald Family Professor of Evangelical Theological Studies, the John Lord O'Brien Professor of Divinity, and the Dean of the Divinity School. His books have won numerous awards. They include Methodism and Politics in British Society, 1750 to 1850, Methodism, Empire of the State, and the Church in the long 18th century. His most recent book is Secularization and Religious Innovation in the North Atlantic World.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Thomas J.J. O'Loughlin is Professor of Historical Theology at the University of Nottingham. He is an authority on the origins and evolution of the liturgy and theology of the early Christian Church, as well as being a leading scholar in the field of early insular Christian history. He has produced exemplary work on St. Patrick and has published landmark books on Gildas, the Welsh Christian writer, and on Admittance, the most important Irish church figure of the 7th century.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof. We will now admit our new honorary members in the section of science, and I now pass to our Science Secretary, Catherine Godson.
Kevin Costello holds the Kremble William Rowan Hamilton Chair in Theoretical Physics at the Amateur Institute, Canada. He's a leading mathematical physicist who, aside from his many papers, has published several books on mathematical aspects of quantum field theory. He received his PhD from the University of Cambridge in 2003, won the Berwick Prize of the London Mathematical Society in 2017, was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society in 2018, and won the American Mathematical Society's 2020 Leonard Eisenbud Prize.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Kate Fitzgerald holds the Worcester Foundation Chair in Biomedical Sciences at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. She is one of the world's leading immunologists working on innate immunity and host defense mechanisms against bacteria and viruses. She has won numerous awards for her work, including a Merit Award from the National Institutes of Health in the US and the St. Patrick's Day Medal from Science Foundation Ireland. She is also president of the International Cytokine and Interferon Society.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Chris Hawksworth is a Senior Research Fellow in the School of Earth Sciences at the University of Bristol. He is among the world's leading geochemists and has played a key role in transforming geochemistry from a largely descriptive discipline in the 1960s to the quantitative science that it is today. He's a Fellow of the Royal Society and of the Royal Society of Edinburgh.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof. Thank you now to our honorary members. We hope you'll stay in touch and be with us in many ways throughout the coming years. Membership of the Royal Irish Academy is a recognition of their scholarship and excellence of our members who live in Ireland. They are usually resident and working on the island of Ireland. I would like to welcome now our first new member in the section of Polite Literature and Antiquities. I pass back to Mary O'Dowd.
Niamh Brennan is Michael McCormack Professor of Management at University College Dublin. She is the founder and academic director of the UCD Centre for Corporate Governance. She has published extensively on corporate governance, finance, and accounting. She is the first academic outside the UK to receive the British Accounting and Finance Association Distinguished Academic Award and be introduced into the Accounting, Auditing and Accountability Journal Hall of Fame.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
David Collings is Professor of Human Resource Management at Dublin City University Business School. He is an influential leader and publisher on global staffing and talent management. He was named by HR Magazine as one of the 25 most influential international thinkers globally in the field of human resource management in 4 consecutive years, from 2014 to 2017.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Enrico Delago is Professor of History in the School of History and Philosophy at NUI Galway. He is a comparative historian who publishes on the history of the United States and of Italy. He specializes in the history of slavery, abolitionism, comparative nationalisms, and the American Civil War. He is the author of 5 monographs. His most recent book is Civil War and Agrarian Unrest, which was published by Cambridge University Press in 2018.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Paul Michael Garrett is Senior Lecturer in Social Work at NUI Galway. He is a leading international authority in the field of critical social theory, social work, and social policy. His recent highly influential books include Welfare Words and Social Work and Social Theory. He has authored 6 monographs and over 100 peer-reviewed articles.
In the name by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Margaret Keller is Professor of Anglo-Irish Literature and Drama at University College Dublin. She's an internationally renowned scholar in Irish literature in English. She's the author of 2 major works, The Feminization of Famine, Expressions of the Inexpressible, and The Man Trasna Murders, Language, Life, and Death in 19th Century Ireland. She was also co-editor of the path-breaking 2-volume Cambridge History of Irish Literature, which appeared in 2006.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Deirdre Madden is Professor of Law at University College Cork. She's an internationally recognized expert in health law and bioethics. She has an extensive record of research and public service appointments. She is currently Deputy Chair of the Board of the Health Service Executive. She is the only Irish Fellow of the Hastings Center in the US, one of the most prestigious bioethics and health policy institutes in the world.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Chris Marsh is Professor of Cultural History at Queen's University Belfast. He is one of the world's leading scholars of the early modern period. His major works include the pioneering and celebrated studies, The Family of Love in English Society, 1550 to 1630, and Music and Society in Early Modern England, both published by Cambridge University Press.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Moira Ní Coyne is Emeritus Professor of Modern Irish at University College Dublin. She is a leading figure internationally in the areas of Modern Irish and Scottish Gaelic literature and culture. Her work has been groundbreaking in the development of a theoretic framework and literary critical vocabulary for the study of Gaelic languages. Her publications have brought a transnational critical perspective to modern Celtic studies.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Fintan O'Toole is respected internationally for his writing on politics, society, and the arts. His journalism explores the systemic and cultural roots of political issues and is informed by his social democratic values. The Academy has published his Judging Shaw, A History of Ireland in 100 Objects, and Modern Ireland in 100 Artworks. In 2017, he was awarded the European Press Prize and the Orwell Prize for Journalism.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Philip Roseman is Professor of Philosophy at Maynooth University. He has won recognition for his work at the intersection of the Christian tradition and contemporary thought. His publications include studies of Thomas Aquinas and of Peter Lombard. His most recent book is Charred Root of Meaning, Continuity, Transgression, and the Other in Christian Tradition. In it, he develops a philosophy of religion that is at once biblical and Foucauldian.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Karen Till is Professor of Cultural Geography at Maynooth University. She is a leading international figure in the interdisciplinary field of memory studies. Her research focuses on explorations of place, memory, and care, and it also involves collaboration with practicing artists. Her publications include The New Berlin, Memory, Politics, Place, Mapping Spectral Traces, and The Textures of Place, Exploring Humanist Geographies.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Ben Tonra is Professor of International Relations at the UCD School of Politics and International Relations. His core research interests are European foreign security and defence policy, Irish foreign policy, and international relations theory. He has published widely in these fields. He has served as chair of the Academy's Standing Committee on International Affairs and has led major EU-funded Horizon 2020 projects.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof. Thank you very much. We would now like to welcome our members in the section of science. I will pass now to our Science Secretary, Catherine Dodson.
Pavel Baranov is Professor of Biomolecular Informatics at University College Cork. He is best known for his discoveries relating to the natural diversity of genetic decoding and for the development of computational resources for high-throughput data analysis of gene expression and protein synthesis.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Stephen Bell is Professor of Physical Chemistry and Head of the School of Chemistry and Chemical Engineering in Queen's University, Belfast. He has made world-leading innovations in Raman spectroscopy. This has directly led to applications in forensic and material science in areas such as DNA analysis, bacteria detection, foodstuff quality, and illegal drug monitoring.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Marie-Therese Coyne is the Director of the Geological Survey of Northern Ireland. Amongst her achievements is cross-border collaboration with the Geological Survey of Ireland on the multi-award-winning TELUS Geosciences programmes to benefit the island's economy and research ecosystem. She masterminded a multilingual communications campaign for One Geology, a flagship project for UNESCO's International Year of Planet Earth, which reached a global audience of 107 million. In addition, she piloted the MLA Geoscientist Pairing Scheme in Northern Ireland and introduced the Scientist on Oireachtas Member Pairing Scheme in Ireland to enrich evidence-based policymaking.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Seamus Davis is Professor of Quantum Physics at University College Cork. He's a pioneer in the study of quantum phenomena in atomic and condensed matter, an area that is rapidly leading to quantum information theory. He's a fellow of the American Physical Society, a member of the US National Academy of Sciences, and recipient of the 2016 Science Foundation Ireland St. Patrick's Day Science Medal.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Chris Elliott is Professor of Food Safety at Queen's University, Belfast. He leads the use of analytical methods to inform food authenticity, integrity, and safety, and to prevent food fraud globally. He founded the Institute for Global Food Security, developed the Food Fortress concept, an independent government review of the UK food supply system, and was awarded an OBE by Queen Elizabeth II in 2017.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Robert Forster is Director of the National Centre for Sensory, was a personal chair in physical chemistry at Dublin City University. He has made pioneering contributions in the areas of ultrafast electrochemistry from electronics, multi-live cell microscopy, and ultrasensitive sensors for disease biomarkers. He has played a leading role in the delivery of strategic national research programs.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Cecily Kelleher, Principal of the College of Health and Agricultural Sciences at University College Dublin, is one of Ireland's most eminent and influential public health researchers. She has delivered breakthroughs in public health research and practice in areas such as cardiovascular disease, childhood obesity, traveller health, and the effects of smoking. She has also made significant contributions to the development of national public health policy.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Frank Mcdermott of the School of Earth Sciences and University College Dublin is a leader internationally in the discipline of geochemistry. He has produced a large body of high-impact science with a particular focus on paleoanthropology and paleoclimatology, delivering important insights into Earth system challenges such as climate change and sustainability. He has also held key leadership positions in the national and international organisation of research in the geosciences.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Nabil Reza is Chair Professor of Electrical and Electronic Engineering at University College Cork. He's internationally recognized for his contributions to research and education in photonics, particularly in fiber and electro-optics. He invented a new imaging device, the KS camera, for which he received in 2019 the Edwin H. Land Medal, awarded jointly by the International Optical Society and the International Society for Imaging Science and Technology.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Afshan Somali is Professor of Cancer Biology and Director of the Apoptosis Research Centre at NUI Galway and an international leader in the field of endoplasmic reticulum stress and cell death signalling in cancer. He has received multiple prestigious funding awards and the NUI Galway President's Award for Research Excellence. He was elected to the European Cell Death Academy and has founded 3 biotechnology companies.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof.
Miles Turner is Professor of Plasma Physics in the School of Physical Sciences at Dublin City University. He is regarded as one of the leading low-temperature plasma physicists of his generation. Since the early 1990s, he has made a series of technical and academic contributions that are widely recognized as seminal. He was director of the SFI Strategic Cluster on Plasma Technology from 2008 to 2014.
In the name and by the authority of the Royal Irish Academy, I admit you a member thereof. That brings us to the end of today's ceremony. I would like first to congratulate all of our new members and honorary members. Please join me in welcoming them to the community of the Royal Irish Academy. I very much look forward to meeting you all in person and to celebrating with you when we are able to welcome you to Academy House to sign the roll book. I want to thank you and all our other members and guests for attending today's online ceremony. Thank you all and stay safe. Thank you.